What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for finding the YouTube channel. My name's RJ, also known as Liquid Music ENT over on Twitch, and also Liquid Music Entertainment right here on YouTube. And you found a great one today. Welcome to Pride Month, and I am all decked out in my Pride merch. So if you want to go check that out, you can do that. Just check out the description below. But that's not why you're here. You're here because CrewTeam was one of our interviewees and our co-host of our monthly stream in May, and it was super exciting to have her. We talked about her journey from VTubing to being on camera, the confidence it takes, and also her journey to foster care. So you got to check that one out, and it's going to be great. We're going to start the video within 30 seconds. You said reduce the intros and just get to the interviews. So I'm listening to you. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for following, and thank you everybody for finding the channel and supporting everything we do. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna go in 30 seconds into the video. I appreciate you. See you on the flip side. Peace.
Street Hawk fan sent Gerald here. Just wanted to say, we love you, Soul, and my bathtub always has room for one more.
Welcome all gamers, music lovers, force all around the galaxy, and if you're a Padawan at least 18 years of age, you might be in the wrong place because this is going to be a fun one. I was going to get my intro just started just right, and Street Hawk said, you know what? I'm going to throw this Gerald sound effect right when I'm about to talk, so I had to wait a minute. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much. We have a great night tonight, and we have a I'm not even going to say who is coming in just yet because we're going to do a little housekeeping first, and then I'll do a great intro. As you all know, I do this every single month. We try to bring in a person that can tell a great story, figure out what's going on, have some good stuff to tell. We've had people from talking about computers, 10 years of streaming, being a Fae. We have a great one next month as well. Allie's going to join us. We're going to talk about fibromyalgia and all that kind of fun stuff. So that'll be a good one for next month. But last month we had a CTV sister join us, and if you missed that one, that's okay because like I said, we're doing housekeeping. Later Sunday night, we're going to play some Fortnite. We're going to do some of that Star Wars stuff that we love because it's Star Wars month. And then Monday on our YouTube channel, that interview that we did last month with CTV's sister is going to be debuting on the YouTube channel, and then what we record tonight will be on next month's YouTube channel. So it's so great to be able to build a great community and build great people that are out there that have stories to tell, because you never know what you're going to learn when you're on Twitch. And lots of times you go out there and you're just kind of like, okay, just to hang out, play video games. But you know, let's find a night every single month, at least once time, every now and then, to talk about something that we have very important, so you can learn something. So that's what we're here for to do. So everybody that's here, I see a huge list of people. Thank you so much for being here. Also at the beginning on the 22nd, we're going to bring on Rocksmith. So if you want to hear some music, I'm going to pull out that bass guitar that's hanging on the wall right back here. We'll play some music. You can request songs that are on the playlist. We'll do that. And then we'll do a Memorial Day celebration. We won't be live for that, but I'll be doing some stuff with the vets and veterans out there. And then on the 27th, we'll be back with Split Fiction to hopefully finish that game with Miss Night Angel X. Hopefully. I mean, we've been playing it for a while, so hopefully we'll finish that. If not, then we'll reserve a day in June for that as well. But that's not what you're here for. You're not here to hear me rant about what's coming up next month or what's coming up in the next couple weeks. You're here because CrewTeam's here, and I'm a huge fan of the Tonight shows and all that stuff. So I try to write an intro. I try to do all that kind of fun stuff to make it more professional, more intro. And then when we release it, we have a good one. So here's what we got. We're diving deep into a journey of truly inspiring streamer who has faced incredible challenges and emerged stronger than ever. From spending 16 years in the foster care system to finding her voice in the streaming world, she's got powerful story to share. She started her journey, her Twitch journey as a VTuber, bravely stepped into the spotlight to reveal her true self, building connections and confidence along the way. Not only is she a former Stream Raiders captain, but she's also a proud member of the Liquid Army and the Be Kinder Stream Team, bringing her unique energy and perspective to the communities. And when she's not streaming, she's navigating life alongside her partner, fellow streamer antagonist, as they balance life, love, and content creation near the shores of Lake Erie. And if you didn't know, I always try to pick a song that's kind of close in that area, so that's why I picked the Cleveland Rock song. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring S0lskynn on and release those nerves. There she is. Hi, by the way. Good to see you. How are you, by the way? Good to see you.
I'm good. I'm good. Nervous, but good.
And by the way, if you weren't following her stream, the reason why we're a little bit behind, she was playing some marbles. And you know what? When you start playing that marbles and you start doing all that kind of stuff, you don't want to stop that. So we'll get through the whole tournament and we'll finish up. And then now we're here. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Before we get started and I start asking questions and start talking about you, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, where to find you, all that kind of stuff. And thank you so much for the shout out. I appreciate it. Allie?
Yeah, I'm S0lskynn. I'm a cozy game streamer. I'm on Twitch. I guess Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm the most active on Twitter/X. But yeah, I stream on Twitch. I do ESO, Final Fantasy, Marvel Rivals, Repo, Marbles, which we were doing tonight, which is great. But yeah, that's me. That's my streaming stuff.
And you were a Stream Raiders captain. How did you
Yes.
And to kind of full disclosure, I do kind of give all the questions ahead of time so we can have a good conversation. You know what we're asking, all that stuff. But there's a few questions that do pop up, like right now, like Stream Raiders. Like, how did you feel and how did you cope with Stream Raiders ending a few months back?
So I sobbed my eyes out for a lot of reasons.
Most of us did, yeah.
I did. I sobbed my eyes out. I actually found out the night before my first skin-a-thon that the game was shutting down in 30 days or 60 days, whatever it was. So, yeah, it was a huge blow. Stream Raiders was why I started streaming. So to lose that, it was just a very deep loss. I understand why, and all good things come to an end. Yeah. But yeah, it was hard.
Yeah. When we were talking to CTV Sister last month in the interview that comes out Monday, she was really adamant of saying like they did everything they could to try to keep it going, and you can kind of tell when people are like kind of blowing smoke up you and like kind of like doing all that kind of stuff. But when she was talking about that, you knew that she was serious. You knew the company was doing everything they could. So it was really great to actually get that insider track, because you know you're sitting in Discord and you're talking about all these kind of random things that are happening. Oh, they're shutting down. You see the negative, you see the positive, and then you talk to somebody within the community or within the like the viewer side or like the community side of their work group, and you know that they've done everything they can. So that is super awesome. So what I want to do tonight, if you all are new to the channel, if you're new to this kind of world of sitting down and kind of talking to people, we pick 3 categories. We kind of try to talk a little bit about something, teach somebody about things that are out there, so people can get rid of the stigma of bad things and understand the good, and there's always bad things around things and stuff. But let's get to know you first, and then we'll hit the 3 categories that are above our heads here. I really truly have a few questions, and we'll get into the topics here because I really want to talk about that kind of stuff. But like when you started streaming, like everybody does, you kind of create your own Twitch channel. You kind of like, okay, this is what I want to do. How did you get that channel started, and how did you come up with a name? And then how did you go from like VTuber and then go straight into showing your camera?
Yeah, so the easiest one is my name. My partner Ant, he would call me Sunshine, and like he still does, not was, he still calls me Sunshine. But I wanted it to be a little different because I do like being a light to other people and bringing good to their day and making them smile, making them happy. So I wanted to find another way to say sunshine, and I fell on, which last night we discovered it was the Norwegian version of sunshine. which was spelled SOLSKINN. And I'm like, well, I don't want it to be like exactly another language, so I changed the I to a Y.
That's a great idea. I like it.
Literally, so that's how I came up with the name. The name means sunshine.
No, that's awesome.
It's also a very good play on one of my favorite colors, which is amber, which is my first name.
Yeah.
So it's just, it all kind of like ties in there.
No, that's awesome.
So I started streaming because I got very, very ill in 2023, almost died. And I ended up having surgery, and I was home for 3 weeks unexpectedly. And I was very bored and very lonely. And I said, okay, why don't we try the streaming thing? But I don't want to put my face on camera because I'm shy.
Yeah.
I was taking a lot to build up to where I am now. And that's why the VTuber came into place. And she originally didn't have llama ears. And I decided to incorporate the llamas into my channel. And then I went on a deep, deep, deep dive on Etsy to find those llama ears.
That's awesome. I love it. God, love it.
So it was a slow evolution of things. Like my channel looks nothing like it did in the very beginning. Absolutely nothing like it did.
I don't think anybody's really truly does, to be honest. I mean, I remember when I got started, I was a big fan of like, Paris Heller, and he was doing this like advertisements of like, oh, you can go to this website. I'm not going to market the website, but you can grab our overlays and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do that. I don't think I even know where those are at anymore, to be honest with you. Spent money for overlays. I'm like, I don't even use them anymore. So
I love that.
So like, I truly love to go in the deep dive of like when I go to interview somebody, and we're talking about streaming, I'll go in the streamer stats, I'll go in the back and I'll get, hey, when you get started, and like when all that stuff, like, so I'm glad that you went into like why you got started. Cause I mean, I noticed that when you started in late 2023, that's why, and then the inspiration of why you went live. So like, what made you decide to start gaming versus just talking, and then why at first were you shy and then now you're kind of like getting better at getting past that moment?
So the first question, I started streaming Stream Raiders as a viewer. I streamed placing with other captains.
Oh.
I wanted to be a captain. Like that was the reason I said, okay, let's do the streaming thing. It was, an avenue to do something, but also I wanted to play the campaign. I wanted to be a Stream Raiders captain. I loved the game. I loved the community and the joy and the happiness that it brought me. I mean, it was also one of the things that kept me very busy when I was sick and I couldn't do anything. So yes, that's where the gaming came from it on that side of it. I've tried to do the just chatting and I am way too shy to sit there and just talk to people.
I mean, I could talk as long as I have somebody kind of piggyback off of, like right now, it's perfect. But if I'm sitting there 3 hours, I admire those that can sit there and talk for 3 hours. Yeah, for sure.
I know I can talk as long as people are talking with me. I can keep going.
Oh, yeah.
Like I can go for hours on end, but yeah, it all started with Stream Raiders. Getting over the shyness, I think it was at least 6 months into streaming before I went live cam. And I forget, it was a goal thing. If I hit a certain thing.
It's a great idea too, because pushes people to do stuff.
If I hit affiliate captain, or Stream Raiders affiliate, I think is when I would do the cam. And I think that's what I did. It was something big. It was a big thing. And people showed up and got me what I needed to do for whatever the goal was. Good Lord, I don't even remember truly remember what the goal was. It was a big goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was what it was. And from there, it was just okay. Like I showed up and people are kind and supportive and love to be there and hang out, whether it's, just 2 or 3 people hanging out with me or it's a whole bunch. It's still the same vibe and it's safe. And that's how I've become okay with doing the cam more. Like you guys will notice as I'm talking, I look away. It's because I'm shy and I'm nervous. It's not because I'm disinterested or anything. It's a coping mechanism for me. I do tend to look away.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I've been doing radio and TV stuff since I was like 15 because I started interning and doing all that stuff. And even me, for somebody that has the experience, I sometimes don't even look at the camera. Like right now I am because I'm talking about it. But like I'll look around and as I'm listening, it's just not just necessarily shyness. It's interpreting what you're doing, and you can't look at one thing. Long story short, you're my third interview for today. And
oh my,
well, because I do I do stuff for military, and we're doing interviews for podcasts and stuff like that. And learned really quickly that and doing the mental health ones comes out next month. And we talked about literally how do you process what you're talking about, how you receive things and stuff like that. So I mean, if you're really good at looking at the camera and processing, that's fucking phenomenal. But yeah, it's, I would say it's not necessarily shy, but it's also helps you process what you need to do in the time. So that's freaking phenomenal, and that's great. So when you went from that and you went back, because obviously I met you throughout the years, doing the VTuber and a joke, all that kind of stuff. And then he's right here and then down there. How did you decide to do the VTubing, and then how did you get there? Because I want to kind of talk about that as you're influencing, because I think learning about you and VTubing is all going to be mixed into one. So we're kind of mixing the two there. So how did you decide on her, and how did you do it? And then how would you introduce people if they say, hey, I want to get started and I want to do VTubing? How did you introduce that to that?
So I actually didn't know a lot about VTubing. Ant was the one who introduced me to it, because he watches more Twitch than I do. I don't have the mental capacity to keep up with it. I have a time of the day where I start to allow myself to watch Twitch, because I got life. I got things I got to get done.
Yeah.
But he's like, well, hey, why don't you consider a VTuber? And I was looking at PNG tubers, and none of them were really speaking to me. Oh, Etsy. Etsy's how I find my stuff, you guys. Etsy is gold.
Yes.
You have to dig for what you want. Mm-hmm. And I was just looking, and I was very committed to finding a set. She's not a pre-made VTuber. I made her. I found somebody who is selling assets that you can build and create your own VTuber that had basic rigging.
Oh, okay.
And I said, okay, well, that's good. I'll invest in that. So I invested in that, and I built her. I made her, and I didn't like her movements a whole bunch. So I dove into okay, let's jump into VTube Studios and see if I can adjust the rigging on this. Right. And I did. It probably took me a good 3 months for my first stream when I had her. So I got her before my first stream. And it took me a good 3 months to get her going and learning. And it was a whole new world for me. I hadn't learned it all. So when people ask me about starting streaming and they're really shy about the camera, I said, okay, if you don't want to do the camera, consider a VTuber. Yeah. PNG is an option. Those are pre-built ones. You don't need a camera. It just goes off of your microphone, and it moves with your microphone and your inflection and everything. Or you can go to Etsy, or there's Ko-Fi. There's a lot of options to go get a pre-built VTuber. Yeah. And I just direct them in that way. Decide what you want to spend, and then, just do it that way. You might not use it forever. You might use it for a little bit. It might be you might be committed to it for 6 years.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. That could be a repertoire for sure. Ann said that wasn't your first VTuber.
No. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, he's bringing up such bad memories. That's right. I entirely forgot about this. So this is VTuber number 2. She's still technically not named. I think we named her yesterday. I think I'm going to commit to that name. The first one I made, and that's right, babe, I totally forgot about that. I did. I cried as much about that as I did with Stream Raiders ending. So I made one. I did the whole spiel. I made her. I actually still have a picture of her. And I lost her.
Oh, no.
In my computer. My computer's a hates me. My computer, I swear, it's possessed. And it's like, oh, you want to have a good day? No.
No, yeah. As every streamer learns really quick.
Yeah. So her file just disappeared. It deleted. I don't know if I hit a button. I don't know what happened, but my computer had broken and I took it to have it fixed and I got it back and I was trying to do it and we couldn't recover it.
Oh.
So yes, this is VTuber number 2. She's very similar, but not exactly the same.
So if I was thinking, like, if you wanted to do like a goal, because you were talking about like big huge goals, would you try to recreate her and put her as like a sidekick? Like every now and then she could be like right next to your VTuber or right next to you or something like that. That could pop up every now and then, like a huge. I'll recreate it if I get like 100 subs for the month or something, you know, like crazy, like, because I know it's going to take time to redo, but I think that's
I might consider it. I have thought about having her. I got to find the programming for it so that it actually works correctly. But I have thought about having her as a second on my stream with me, but she'll be talking at the same time I'm talking and I can't have that.
No, that's awesome. So how did it and like with both of you being streamers, how do you balance the life? Because I mean, obviously he helps you a lot with getting to YouTubers and stuff like that, and balancing the life, and he streams, he works, you work, you stream, you know, how do you balance all that in that instance and trying to recreate or try to create a VTuber as you're working, as you're streaming, as you're doing all that?
So have you seen those commercials, the circus commercials where they have the mime who's standing with one foot on a unicycle and the other one's out and he's balancing stuff on a pogo stick
all
up
the
in
plates
the air?
and the sticks? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's our life.
Oh, I totally
that's our life. Yeah. That's how we do it.
Then how do you like letting that, like, because obviously there's good stress, bad stress, because we talk about mental health a lot. Like like obviously good stress is like you're staying alive, you're trying to like doing that stuff, but when that bad stress keeps in, like sleeps in, and you're trying to like figure all that out, how do you balance that when it's everything going on?
I think we've just been together so long and been through so much. We've learned how to function well with it and balance each other out. Like when lately it's been more me stressed about the everyday life stuff and the streaming, because I like streaming and I don't want to give it up to fit, you know, life together. And he balances the stress of work because he's our main breadwinner, and making sure everything's covered and making sure that I'm available to stream. We've become a well-oiled machine. Probably the best in the last like 6 months. We've just been flowing really good together.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's always stressful because I mean, like, my wife isn't in the streamer community and trying to understand what streamers did when we first started in 2020, and then 5 years later now, you know, we're trying to figure that, and like, are we there? Are we still there? Or like, I totally understand that. That's why I always love to do that. So we talked about your journey from like the beginning of streaming to like now, like looking back at it, would there be anything that you would change, or would you like to say, oh, I wish I'd have done this earlier or done this sooner?
I can't say change or have done things at different times. There was just last fall to winter was just really hard on me, and I decided to step back from it. And I just think I disappointed myself doing that, because I had to pick up and start not back over, but start some of the parts over again that I felt like I had done and achieved.
Yeah.
Other than that, no, I think it's been a really, really good journey. I've met amazing people. I've found groups where I fit in, games that I love. I've made new friends, new connections, and Ant and I have our first big trip planned is TwitchCon.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome, because I like my whole thought about that is like, yeah, you kind of look back as like, oh, if I wouldn't have done this, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. But then like taking that break off, it's amazing how if you take a month off, maybe even a 2 months off, how much things evolve and change, and you
Mhm.
feel like you have to start over and kind of get them back in the fuel, like the flow of things again. But like when you did, and you said, "Yep, this is what I want to do," and StreamYarders again was still available at that time, of course.
Yeah.
Was there something that you were like, "Okay, this is what I need to do to start over," or was it something like, was it easy to get going again?
Um, kind of both. I had the Stream Raider, so it was easy enough to get back into that and start streaming that again and getting the hype and the excitement about that. And I still hadn't really found where I felt comfortable in the streaming world. Like now I'm comfortable. I can pop on and say, well, this is actually what I feel like doing today. We're going to do it in, if I have, like I said, if I have 2 people, 8 people, 10 people, 12, 50, whatever, I'm comfortable with that number across the board with whatever I'm going to do.
Right. And then with now that you're getting comfortable of doing that kind of stuff, before we like really truly like, I mean, we've already scratched the surface a little bit of the VTuber thing, but like as you talk about like stressors and then doing things like that, what do you do like outside of streaming that's not work, that's not streaming, that's not VTubing, and maybe on your own or with Ant, like to decompress or to have fun other than TwitchCon coming up?
Right. I like to craft. I like to make crafts and read books. I don't really read them so much anymore as I listen to them now
Yeah.
on audiobooks because life.
Yeah.
But it's still a book because of the same words, no matter if they're in my brain or somebody else's voices.
Yeah.
But I like to craft. I make all kinds of little things. It started with making quilts. I learned how to sew quilts when I was 18, and I did great in that. I sold them at shows, and I had an Etsy shop, and I made all of my daughter's clothes for the first 2 years of her life.
Oh, that's awesome.
I did. I loved it. It was fantastic. I still love to sew. I just kind of don't have the setup for it right now, but like I have my Cricut machine. I do all kinds of paper stuff. I make the little keychains that people will take with them to TwitchCon with a little QR code on it. So it's easy connection. You don't have to have like stickers or something to give out or lose.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So,
I remember somebody told me like they were handing out stickers and they were like, a lot of people were around and they like put the bag down and they were like handing it out. And then they got up and walked away and they were gone for like 20 minutes and realized they left the bag there, and they walked back and the bag was still there. And I was shocked. I was like, nobody didn't pick that up. I'm like, it was just really funny. Like those small things where it's like, yeah, you have a tendency of losing things all the time, especially at big cons like that. Okay. So as we move into the VTuber thing and we talked about how you created VTuber, how much of an investment did you make, if you're willing to share that, for those that are thinking about, hey, I want to create this or I can buy it, when you decided to do both? How did you balance that money?
I had a very limited amount of funds because I wasn't making any money streaming yet. Yeah. And I was horribly in debt at that time. And I had just accumulated it was about 10 grand medical debt at that time. So I gave myself $100.
Mm-hmm.
I gave myself $100, and that's why I didn't buy a pre-built. I built one. I purchased assets and I put her together myself. And I learned about rigging to be able to improve her myself. And I took the time. YouTube has everything.
I was just going to say that.
If you want to learn something, please check YouTube first, or go ask somebody who knows how to do it, because there are affordable to free ways to learn how to do everything.
Yeah. So like when you decided to do that, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to look for, did you have to look for, okay, so the assets came with a specific program, I'm assuming, right? Because that's...
Yes, so the program was free in Steam.
Yep.
It's VTube Studios.
Then when you went to YouTube, you're like, okay, how to create VTuber on this, and then like all the videos popped up whenever. Was there a particular video like you have it saved so you can go back and kind of like, this is the one that helped me?
Actually, there's one. Well, I don't know that I have it saved anymore, but there's one that I go back to remind myself how to put like accessories on my VTuber. But I always just Google it and look for how to
one that I
to put
see the red
accessories
bar on
on
the bottom. You're
VTuber.
like, yeah, that's the one. That's the
That's the one.
Yeah,
That's the one
saw
I
that one
clicked. So that's the one that I go back to all the time. So the Twitch VTubers, the real popular ones, the ones who have a lot of people in there, they actually make how-to videos on how to use VTubers and do all the things on it. And they're great because they're doing it themselves.
Right.
And they're sharing that knowledge for free with you.
Yeah. I think one of the ones that's how I came up with Yoda, like next to me, because I wanted something that like just he kind of hung out, didn't really do a whole lot, but just kind of like you knew he was alive. So I learned how to do the eyes, so it looked like he was always there and stuff like that. So it did exactly what you did, and I used something that already existed because I'm a fan, but I could have easily created my own and done that kind of stuff. So what I wanted to ask is like, discussing this in the Discord, kind of like random people that were thinking about doing this, is that they're afraid that when they do the VTuber, can it glitch and get the camera come on without the YouTuber showing, or no? Okay, that's what we want to talk about. Because how does that prevent them from accidentally like, oh, something shut down and now my camera, now I'm on stream. Oh shit! Like, how does that work out?
No, so your VTubers my VTuber is ran through VTube Studios, which is a program you download. So you open, before you open anything else, you don't open your camera, you do not open OBS, you don't open anything that has to do with your camera.
Right.
You open VTube Studios.
Right.
Your camera gets locked into that program. So
That's
it's
good.
only following you on that. And then you download another program, it's called Sprout, and you put it into OBS. And Sprout is the mediator between OBS and VTube Studios.
Oh, okay.
So if VTube Studios crashes, your Sprout freezes. That's all it does.
Good,
because
okay.
the camera's already locked into another program, so OBS cannot grab it.
Yeah. And that's the thing that some people forget. Like, and I've done that with a couple other programs. Is like you have to open this one before this one and this one and this one. Yeah, there's a process and all that kind of stuff. So like, when you decided to go from VTuber to camera, or like you're already doing the camera every now and then, but like more full time, I should say, camera, was there any good and bad like reactions? Was there like the stress of you? How did that experience go through when you transitioned over?
So I actually went to full-time cam. Once we unlocked it, I went to full-time cam, and she's my backup. She is my body double when I'm not, mentally or emotionally or physically feeling, being on cam. Then I have her and I can still stream. Because I personally don't like to watch streams where there's not a VTuber or a person on cam. There's exceptions to that rule. There's exceptions to every rule. But if I'm going to go live, it's either going to be me or my VTuber. And my VTuber is always my backup.
Right.
And with working so much and commuting long hours and being gone 14 hours a day, if I decide to pop on and stream after work, it's my VTuber.
Yeah, because I want to relax.
It's my VTuber because I'm going to be in my sports bra, in my dirty scrubs.
Yep.
My hair's up in a mess from wearing a scrub cap all day. It's like, I'm not going to take the time to do this.
Oh, yeah. No, I get that.
After a long day of work.
So, like, when you decide, like, let's say you're streaming, your camera's on, and then you decide, okay, now I'm kind of like not feeling the greatest. I'm going to go ahead and just keep going. Can you transition from the VTuber while the OBS is already open?
No.
So it's either you go live with the camera on, or you have to commit to VTuber first.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the good thing.
At least for my setup, I'm sure there's another way to do it. If I put my second cam on,
I was just going to
my
say
computer,
that maybe two cameras.
I could most likely do it, but my computer, I'm not going to poke the bear.
Yeah. I understand that one. Trust me. I have so much shit going on that it's like, I'm just waiting for it to go bye for sure. Do you feel like when you're a VTuber or now that you're on camera, do you feel like more connected now that you're on like full cam, or does it about the same no matter what it is?
For me, it was about the same. Um, my community loves to be there for. I have big personality. My personality fills my screen.
That's why I keep
And
coming
I
back to
know
the channel
that.
too as well. Yes. Yeah, I totally get that.
I'm aware of that. That's one of the areas where I have a little bit of confidence. So I feel whether it's my VTuber or my cam, it's about the same. I get the same reception and same interaction and
No, that's
all
good.
of that. You know, some people prefer one over the other,
Mhm.
and that's absolutely fine. But no, I feel it's pretty the same for me.
That's good because I'm like I always think of like self-confidence, like building that self-confidence from being a VTuber to put their camera on. Like, how did you like press on to get that, and then how did it stay? Like, did it feel differently every time you were on camera versus VTuber, or is it like? I mean, obviously you said like the energy level stays, but like, how did it internally feel? Does it feel better being on camera, or does it sometimes feel better with you VTubing, or kind of mixture of both depending on the day?
It's a mixture of both depending on the day. Like I said, if I hadn't made it a goal to go live on cam, it probably never would have happened.
Yeah.
I have to have that push
Mhm.
and I have to have that receiving pull, which is the support of the people helping me get that goal in order to feel safe to do it. I like to say I'm not a brave person. I'm an adrenaline junkie.
Yeah.
I am not a brave person.
No, I get that. I mean, you have to be at least a little bit of brave to push live and be on camera. So I mean,
Yeah.
you have to have a little bit of borderline with that. But you're not gonna like. I'm not brave enough to get hooked up to a bungee cord and jump off a bridge. Yeah.
No.
There is a distance between the two.
There's
For
a life
sure.
and death value there that would prevent me from doing
exactly.
that. There's life and death with hitting the live cam button.
I mean, yeah. I mean, not so much. No. Okay, so before we move on to the mental health and then talk about foster care and stuff like that, one last question on this one, like, how would you give advice to somebody that's going, okay, I want to stream. Do I start with the camera? Do I start with VTubing? Is there something advice that you would give? Like, hey, this is what I did. This is how you would do it. Like, how would you encourage them to be on camera? Would you encourage them to be VTuber first and build up the courage? How would you like give that advice to those?
So the conversation I have with friends who have reached out to me, I tell them start with what you have. Do you already have a camera?
Mhm.
No, you don't have a camera. You don't need to start with the camera.
Right.
You should start with a PNG tuber. Is usually my recommendation. You can find very affordable ones on Etsy. And if you're going to invest in something, invest in that. And then you have that. You need a mic and a VTuber if you so choose. And then over time, your stream, take what you make off of your stream or a side hustle, not your regular job. You don't take money from your regular job to be putting into streaming. Do something on the side or let the stream pay for itself and just be patient. I know it's really hard to be patient. Luckily for me, Aunt and I are blessed with really good jobs and I could budget out, hey, I'm going to let go of this luxury that I have. And I did it for a while.
Yeah.
I would let go, or not let go, I would trade luxuries. So I would trade, let's say, my monsters that I was drinking for so long, taking that money, and each month I would put that into my stream.
Yeah.
And then I'm still getting something from it, and it's the same amount of money.
Right.
So yes, if you're just starting, start with what you have. If you have a computer and you can download OBS, and you can start with that, you can make free stuff in the free version of Canva. You can make all of your overlays and your alerts. You can make all of that for free yourself. You know what? I need to just set up a thing.
No, you're good because like you're right
people.
about like learning on YouTube, because that's how I learned Canva in the first place, because I was at work and I was bored and I was like watching videos of Canva and I was like, oh, like I want to do this. And then as time and money came in, helped me afford the pro version and helped me learn a lot more other stuff too. So I totally agree with that. And like you were saying about putting money aside, if you're a smoker and you're buying a pack of cigarettes, and I think I'll just say $10 because I think they're like stupid expensive now.
I have no
like,
idea.
Whatever. I don't like back when I was super young. I'm not back in the day. They were like $5, but I know that they've doubled in price.
$275. I remember when they were $275.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna go in the brands, but yeah, there's a few of that.
Exactly.
Like buy one if you're still a smoker, but then put the money aside of that second one. Like if it's almost like you're buying two, but buy a pack and then put that money aside. Like if you're buying the second one aside, and every time you buy a smoke, put that aside, and then you'll have money to help pay for the like YouTuber, like cameras and all that kind of stuff. So I love that advice because that small amount, even if it's 6 months of savings, makes a huge difference on getting that one there. Okay, so again, when you do the reason why I put mental health right in the middle. With our description here is because mental health will verge in the YouTube part of it and then the foster care part of it, and it's kind of like intermixing both of them. So like I'm going to kind of lean into the foster care while we're talking about mental health. So like growing up in the foster system, how does it shape your confidence, and how do you work through it? Can you give me a little bit more of how that worked for you? Because there's a stigma out there that's bad, it's good, all that kind of stuff. So can we talk about that one to kind of lean into this conversation?
Yeah. So I decided I wasn't going to be part of the stigma. I wasn't going to let people think that about me. I wasn't going to be grouped into that because there's no reason for it. I'm just like everybody else. I just had a really rough start and an unfortunate roadblocks along the way.
Yep.
It's just I made the conscious choice that wasn't going to be my future.
So how did you make that choice? Because I mean, I obviously everybody, I know a lot of people that are at a certain age that are still doing the same thing that they were doing 20 years ago when they were 15 or something like that, or whatever, 15 years ago, or whatever. The math was really bad. Sorry. Doing that same stuff and expecting different results. How do you flip that script and go, okay, I can't sit around and wait for this to happen. How do I change this and make it happen for myself? How did you change that?
I guess I always knew that nothing was going to be given to me.
That's facts.
I had rights to nothing. I was entitled to nothing, and if I wanted something, I had to do it myself.
Yep.
My legal guardians, they're the ones who raised me. They were my foster parents. But I was legally allowed to stay with them for, growing up. I wasn't even given uniforms for events and sports that they signed me up for. I had to work around the house and do chores and do yard work and all of that in order to earn the uniform I needed to participate in the event that I was signed up for.
Right.
So I guess it just very early on, I knew I was never going to have anything if I did not apply myself. There were times where I did want to give up, and I just wanted to be I am so sick of it being hard.
Right.
I am so tired of it being hard, and I can see how it's very easy to just fall back into, well, I've done this before. I know what the outcome is, even though it's not the outcome I want, or that the outcome is going to get me anywhere. I know what the outcome is going to be, and that's safe.
And that's not just in foster care. That comes out in everything. I mean, we're talking about streaming. We're talking about everything else. It's the same concept. Just that you can't just jump into something and say, okay, it's going to change, but then still do the same thing. So that's awesome because, and then while you're doing that, were you alone in that group, or would you have a bunch of other kids and then other members of the foster system with you at the same time?
So in the beginning, I would have to say till I was about, all the way until my senior year, we always had another foster kid with us. The group that lived, Kristen, I'm trying real hard. I think it was going into high school, we were down to one foster kid with me. Before that, we would have 3 or 4, sometimes 5 other ones with us. Now, granted, my parents, my legal guardians for the sake of this, had a giant house. but they had a giant house because they worked very hard and they paid for the house by building it themselves. Literally, my dad, who raised me, built the house I lived in from the ground up.
Wow.
He did it himself. So we had a giant house because they did it that way. So we had a lot of rooms. So we had a lot of places for kids to sleep. But we all had a bedroom, which was great.
Yeah, and with the stories that you hear, sometimes that's not the case, you know?
Yeah.
How did you handle like the others that were like, it sounds like you were always motivated to do more, to achieve more. And then the folks that were around you, like the other foster kids that came in and out, when they didn't have that mentality, how did you get through that and not get sucked into their world, or how did you help them get out of their world?
So I wasn't a very nice foster sister.
Well, I mean, yeah, we all have moments for sure.
I was actually very angry and hurt growing up because my legal guardians, they did foster care for 20 years and they decided that I was the only one that they were going to keep. But they only became my legal guardians and they never changed my last name. Mm-hmm. So I was still a foster kid.
Right.
I still belonged to the system. Mm-hmm. But I hadn't seen any of my family since I was 3. That was the last time I saw them. And I would ask and I would be given lies about what was going on. I found out later that they were lies. I didn't have any other reason not to believe it.
Yeah.
And I would be very angry and resentful and jealous of the other foster kids we had because we had ones that were set up to go back to their families, to go back to their parents. So they were having visitations. They had their siblings living with them in the house. So I think maybe a little bit of that drove, I'm not going to have what I want, so I have to get it myself.
Yeah. So then when you were dealing with that anger, how did you channel the anger into being productive then? Because sometimes
I was a very good soccer player.
I mean, that's good because I mean, like that's what I was gonna say. Like with the extracurricular activities, you said that you had to get the uniforms and stuff like that. Like, how many extracurricular activities did you put yourself in to help distract your mind during that part of your life?
So I was homeschooled from 3rd to the day I graduated high school. So I was in choir, I was in soccer, I was in vaulting. I also had one of my adopted or my legal guardians, one of their daughters lived across the street from us, and she had 2 disabled kids. Austin is blind and autistic, and Alyssa's blind. And I dove into being an aide for her kids. I was Alyssa's guide for just about everything she was in. I went to everything she went to, and I helped her with her homework. And then Austin, I basically was a second mom. I'd stay there and help him so that my sister could have a break and find some reprieve because her husband was a fireman, which, that's chaotic in itself. Very so I think I put myself intentionally into that to make myself feel better and feel needed and feel important.
Yeah. And then when you're homeschooled, not just the foster care system, but like say you're homeschooled, like how do you get involved with those extracurricular activities outside of the house and doing all that kind of stuff within another school system to do all that?
So it wasn't within another school system. It was all church-based. It was all through the church that we were doing homeschool through.
No, that's awesome.
It was very extremely religiously controlled, everything.
Yeah. I have follow-up questions on that, but maybe we'll wait till after the YouTube channel is recording. So then how did that evolve your beliefs, and how did that get you to where, like, obviously you're already inspiring to be something different. You're finding these like extracurricular activities to make, like feel a part of something, do this and do that. Then how did you take that and go, okay, now I'm old enough, I've graduated high school, now what? Because I mean, you're not.
I'm moving the fuck out.
I mean, amen on that one, but I mean, like
that's what I did.
Yeah.
I started working when I was 15. Actually, I started working when I was 11. I had babysitting money. I saved money for a very, very long time. So I saved babysitting money, and then I saved tutoring money, and then I got my first job at a women's only gym, and I saved all of that money, and I saved everything. I was able to buy a car and afford an apartment, which wasn't actually an apartment. It was a pool house with a mini kitchen and a little side bedroom.
Yeah. I mean, that works. I mean, you had a pool right in front of you, so it's a little more wrong with that.
Yeah. Well, part of the gig was I had to help clean it for the cheap. I mean, like, it worked out, but I had money saved that I got I graduated high school and I got my driver's license. I got my car and I moved out within 2 weeks. Like, I was gone. I did not want to be there anymore. Right. I did not want to be under such strict, like, I was 18 and they're like, you have to be home at 8 o'clock. I'm like, well, but my shift ends at midnight at the gym. I close up. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
So it was just those mental games that I'm like, I'm done. So I turned 18, I got my shit together, and I got my shit out.
Yeah. So then, like, did you keep doing the same jobs then when you got down, or were you looking for what was next? Like was college in your future? Was like higher education to do a better job, different job? How would that work out for you?
So I was going to be a nurse because I was told this ties into that, religious stuff I was stuck in, that, you be a mom or you be a nurse or a teacher because you're a female. Like, that's the box they put us in.
That is for sure the box that people get put in. Yep, you're right.
And I was going to be a nurse, and I moved out, and I needed a better job to pay for things. My savings didn't last very long.
Right.
So I was engaged to a young man who I had known my whole life from church, and his dad worked at Northrop Grumman, which is an aerospace company. And they built the B-2.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they said, do you want a job in aerospace? And cute little homeschool church girl me looked at them and said, what's that?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how much does it pay? Like, yeah.
So I got a job in aerospace, like, right out of high school. And, like, that doesn't happen. I was making in 2004 $15 an hour, working 40 hours a week, being the main on-call person. And like, I was making money, and I had no debt because I owned everything.
Right.
And I owned a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah. I mean, fair. Yeah.
So I ended up in aerospace, and I ended up staying in there for until 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why did you give that up then? It was obviously something that was going well and you were enjoying it at the time. Did you just, I'm done, or?
So there were parts that I didn't work when I had married my ex-husband and we had our daughter. I had been a stay-at-home mom for a spell of a time. Then I'd go back to work because I'm not built to be a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
But what was told to me with the whole religious thing is that when you have kids, you're supposed to stay home. Yeah. Well, not me.
No, I'm not that person either. So, I mean, I don't care what sex I am. I'm not that person.
Yeah.
Cabin fever takes over real quick. Yeah.
I went back and forth, in and out of it. I loved it. I love working with airplanes. I love everything about airplanes. I love flying. I love landing. I love takeoff. I love the turbulence. I love it all. But I got divorced and I got a job in aerospace, my last aerospace job. And it was awful because the engineers don't like inventory people. I have a degree in supply chain management. Yeah. So I tell them, well, we can't get this part. So you need to figure out a different part to make this thing work. Yeah. Or, hey, you had the wrong specs for this part. Now the part doesn't fit. Right. Or, anything can go wrong. So the parts people don't get along with the engineers. The engineers don't get along with the parts people. Well, guess what? The majority of engineers are men. Yeah. And sweet little homeschooled Christian former military spouse. Yeah. I mean, I just kept building that personality. Yeah. I couldn't take it in anymore because I didn't want to become hard. I didn't want to have it roll off my back. I wanted to continue to care, and I wanted to care about how other people's day was going, and that my job made their day better. And COVID happened and everything fell apart, and I lost my job, and I found out I got blacklisted.
Oh, geez.
Because we were R&D.
Yeah.
And one of the contracts I was signed on to, I can't give details about anything.
Right.
It just, we all ended up on a blacklist.
That's terrible.
For 2 years. And I said, okay, well, let's go a different direction, because I didn't like it anyway.
Yeah.
And now I'm in veterinary medicine.
Now, how did you decide, like, that was, I mean, was it just the job that was available, or how did you decide you wanted to do that then?
So this wonderful partner I have.
Fair enough. Yeah.
He goes, hey, you know what you would be really good at? I said, what? Working with animals. I said, oh, okay. He's like, there's this place that we see commercials for all the time. It's called Angels for Animals. It's a rescue place. He's like, why don't you apply there and see what they got? And they called me as soon as I applied, and I started working there. And I started in the surgery department. And I love it. So I'm in the medicine field, but it's not humans that can tell me what's wrong with them, because I will tell you what, human medicine did not work for me.
I would not. Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm like, I don't know how, like, my wife's a chiropractor. I don't know how she does it, because everybody's like, oh, I'm like, yeah, long story short, but yeah, that's crazy. So, like, this, to lean on, now that you've done all this kind of stuff, and now thinking about the foster system, and you decide that, you know, hey, I want to talk about all this kind of stuff, do you ever go back and find the people that you're with, or find the foster parents and get, like, some of the stories that you may have not have known when you were little, and then what have you learned now that you didn't know before?
So it's a yes and a no. So I still have a relationship with my legal guardian mom. She's my mom. Mm-hmm. She's the one who invested the time into keeping me alive and trying to raise me, you know, as what they believed was a decent person, what life should be like. Mm-hmm. She did not do a bad job. I mean, hello, I'm here.
Inspiration. That's what you needed. Yes, exactly.
But I forgot what the question was.
It was more of like going back and like finding the folks that you were in there with, and then not just as foster parents, but everything else.
Yeah. So I've never looked up any of the foster siblings I've had. It just, there's no need to. I don't need that connection. There wasn't a connection there at one time, so there's not one now. Yeah, I get that. Correct. When I was 26 and my little was 3, I decided I needed to know who I was in genetics and where my personality comes from, because my personality, nothing like the people who raised me. I don't talk like them. I like, it is nothing.
Yeah.
So I found, actually, I didn't even find, I was walking through Walmart one day in my hometown, and from what I knew, all of my family, so I was in Palmdale, all of my family, biological family, was in Bakersfield, which is hours and hours away.
Right. So
I'm walking through Walmart, you know, that's right by my house, and this man comes up to me, an old man, 86.
Yeah.
Amber.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You don't remember me?
Obviously
no.
Not. Did you not see the face?
Did I see you at church? Like, no, I haven't been to church in a little while.
Yeah.
No. I knew you when you were 3, when the cops came in and raided and arrested your parents and took them away. I looked at him, I'm like, how in God's name do you know this story? Like, people don't know this story. It's a sealed story.
Yeah, it's 23 years later, and you're finding me now? Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this lady comes up behind him yelling, oh my gosh, I lost you. I couldn't find you. I'm Uncle Bobby. What are you doing? And she stops dead and looks like she saw a ghost. Yeah. And she goes, Amber. I'm like, okay, I need to know what's going on right now, because I got my little girl in the cart and I'm about to scream.
Yeah. Too many people know my name. I don't like this. Yeah.
Exactly. And I wasn't a popular person. I kept to myself. I did my own thing. But, you know, come to find out, it was my aunt.
Wow.
It was my biological aunt, and they had been looking for me since I was 3.
Wow.
And they lived 11 miles from me.
This whole
my entire life.
Jeez.
My entire life. Yep. I went to school, the first 3 years of elementary school with my cousins, and I played with them, and they were my friends.
Yeah. Didn't
like,
even know.
I remembered them when I went back at 26 and re-met them. I'm like, that's uncanny, and that's really weird. But yeah, that's what started. Long story, so sorry, guys.
No, that's what we're here for.
Started.
Tell the story, because that's what everybody wants to hear. So
started me jumping back into finding my things and wanting to find my roots and know about it. So that aunt, her sister, she contacted her sister, who contacted her daughter, Mona, who's my cousin. We still have a great relationship from all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, so I met Mona, and I'm talking to her on the phone. She's like, I have your sister Brandy's phone number. I hadn't seen or heard from my sister Brandy since I was 3.
Right.
No idea where she was. She's like, yeah, I can call her. So she called my sister Brandy. Brandy immediately called me. Immediately texted my brother Scott, who's the one I actually have memories of.
So I'm guessing that, like, I just want to put this family tree together. So you have one brother, one sister, like blood relative.
No.
You have more than that. Okay.
Oh yes.
Okay. I guess we'll untangle that web here in a minute. But yes, go ahead and finish the story. Sorry.
So yeah, I got rekindled back with my brother Scott and Brandy, who mattered to me because they were my maternal siblings.
Right.
My mom. Like, I have memories of my mom. I have good memories of my mom.
Mm-hmm.
She was not a good person by any means, but like, she did some things right that I have good memories of her.
And that's pretty good to have memories when you were 3, because I'm like, we had this discussion not too long ago on stream about like how far back can you remember a story versus what a story was told to you. Like, once a story has been fed to you for so long, you start believing that, yeah, that's what I remember.
Yeah.
Like, a true memory that you remember that you weren't fed, and that's pretty young at 3. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So apparently my laugh, the way I laugh, is identical to my biological mother's laugh.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's a little piece of her that I still have with me, with not like ever really knowing her. I guess the way I speak, the way I say butterfly, she said that too.
Yeah, that's funny.
So I speak like her, but I wasn't with her long enough to actually learn how to speak, because when I went into foster care, I couldn't speak. Nobody had taught me how to talk.
Right.
And I'm, 3 years old. But like, I literally just turned 3. So it was the week before. What it all happened was 10 days before Christmas and 7 days before my 3rd birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'll always like kind of forever have a hard spot in my heart for ICE, because they raided us and they took a family apart right before Christmas.
Right. So like,
there was no need to do that.
So if I'm understanding this right, so you had no like really like thought process of trying to find all your biological side of the family until that happened at Walmart. And then did that spark your direction to get to know more of your biological family?
It did. The tree unfolded.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you shake a tree.
I have a big tree.
Yeah. So like, what did you learn? And was it something that was like, did you feel like you had to be a part of that? Or did you feel like you still could be yourself without like being forced to reach out to everybody that was part of your family that was not originally there?
I wanted to reach out to everybody. I wanted to know what they knew. I wanted to put the pieces together from the things I had been told. That's how I found out a lot of them were lies. My legal guardians didn't necessarily lie to me. They were fed lies that they put flowers on top of and fed back to me.
Right. Like sugar-coated it. Like they know they know a small basic what they were told, and there's like, okay, let's elaborate this to make it better. Yeah, that happens. Yeah.
So, and in finding all my family, I found out a lot of it was lies. Lie after lie after lie after lie. And that's where the foster care system is not true to wanting to reunite the kids with the parents, because they lose a lot when kids the system loses a lot when a kid is reunited with their family.
Right.
They lose a lot of assets. They lose a lot of funding. They lose a lot of programs. So their goal, they flower it and say that that's their goal. That is not their goal.
Yeah. It's kind of like self-run or like privatized prisons. Like they don't want to let people out because the more people they have, the more money they get and all that kind of stuff. So like as you decided to go, okay, now it's time for me to reach out and look at the folks that we're trying to find. How did you decide on who was going to be a part of your life going forward and who wasn't, and then who really wanted to try, who didn't, all that kind of stuff? I mean, you don't have to use names, but just in general wise.
Can you repeat? I was reading Panther Girl's comment.
What was her comment? Yeah.
So she said, my mother-in-law did foster care for about 4 years. Their first placement was 3 siblings, and the youngest was 3 days old. And when she got them, they were with her for 3 years, and they went back to the parents last summer. See, well, so that actually proves my point. Is why did it take that long?
Mm-hmm.
Why was the game played for that long? Mm-hmm. Why are we not setting up the biological parents to do better? Now, granted, my parents did not deserve to have me back. Yeah. I'm going to say that. They did not deserve it. I was my mom's 3rd child. I was my dad's 5th child. They've lost all the ones before me, many times before that. But why could my sister, who was an adult, not have me when she had somewhere to live? Why could I have not gone to live with her? Why did she not have rights to me? Why did I have to stay in the system? I had aunts who were going in all the time asking, where is she? We want her. We are going to do whatever we can to get her. She was a foster parent.
Right.
My aunt, she did foster care for years.
So she was on the list.
And kept her license active. Yes. Yeah. She's like, why? I don't understand why. So it's a game, and they're going to play the game as long as they can until they lose the game.
That's sad. Like the question was like when you decided to like reach out to the other families and you decided, who is part of your family, who is not going to be, like, how did you decide of like how your life was going to evolve with them in it now when they weren't in the first place?
I tried in the beginning to create relationships and be involved, and I was the one making the effort. My sister Brandy's great. She tries, and my brother Scott tries. Nobody else tries. My cousin Mona does too. That's why she tries the most. We have the best relationship out of everybody. But it was me interjecting myself into their lives that they really didn't want to change the dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
So I just stepped back and said, you know what? It's okay. It's been this long. I found you. I have my pieces, and I'm okay with my pieces just being in a frame on the shelf.
No, I get that. Like, so, like, because I mean, I have family. I obviously wasn't in the foster kid system, but like, I have a brother and a sister, and don't matter if you were or weren't, like, the effort's sometimes not there, and it is all that. So that happens a lot because I mean, you get that evolution of family. Like when you have kids, like maybe you don't have time to do things because you're doing sports with them, you're teaching them, doing whatever, and they're like, oh, you're not trying. I'm like, well, I am, but I'm just so fucking busy on this side that you know, I don't have time for all that. So I mean, like, as long as you're Facebook friends and are keeping up with people and like talking whatever, at least you're doing some type of effort. Were there any like pushback when you started like reaching out to folks, and like how did they react to go, oh, I have more family that it didn't know before?
So I had a very small thing with that. So like I said, the trickle effect was I found Brandy, she called Scott. I had them come out one Thanksgiving, and I hosted them for a week with my brother's legal guardians. They all came and stayed with me at my house. And I was up really late with Brandy, and we were going through ancestry.com, and she's 14 years older than me, so she has all of the memories of the horror and the people and the names and everything. And I said, so what do I not know? What am I missing? Like, I know I have brothers on my dad's side, but what am I feel like there's something I should know that I've forgotten. And she's like, you have 2 sisters. You have sisters who are twins. I'm like, that's where my obsession with twins came from growing up. That's that link. I was obsessed with twins. Trust me, I got into an argument many times of girls who were fraternal twins and looked nothing like each other. I'm like, you are not twins? I don't know why I know this, but I know this. So Joanne has children, and Natasha at that time did not. And so we reached out to Joanne, and Joanne was like, she didn't say this to me. She's like, I'm not fully comfortable reaching out to you. We don't know anything about you and that whole thing. So she had Natasha reach out to me and have a conversation with me before she was willing to step in and meet me too, which we all did. We met together, and they're like, wow, you're a totally normal person.
I mean, yeah, because I mean, and then we'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, I think that was the only experience I had with a little bit of pushback. There's some parts of the family, it's like, I went through records and censuses and, public records about certain people in the family. And I know that they did things, but other people in the family don't want to believe that they did things because my dad did worse things.
Yeah.
So there's certain people I don't really have a relationship with because they live in their own belief of what the situation was.
Right. When did you get to the point where, like, I don't need to do any more research? I already know what I need to know. And how did you come to terms with feeling like I've put the pieces together now? I feel like I could see the puzzle. Now I'm good. I don't need to go any deeper.
When I met my mom's brother, I haven't met him in person, but like we connected, we still email and text each other and everything. And I met my dad's sister. Yeah. I went and met her in person and stayed with her for a weekend. Because they were the closest that I had to ever having anything about my parents, because they had both passed away by the time I put this effort in. So those were the links I needed to be like, okay, I'm fine. I don't have to know anything else.
Do you feel like, and then like for those that like if like watch this later on or watch this live now or whatever, that's part of the foster kid system, like, do you feel that helped, like, knowing all that information? Or do you think do you ever look back and go, man, I wish I wouldn't have known so many details? Or are you so glad that you do know it now?
I don't think it's either here nor there for me.
Okay.
I had closure when I found just finding the people. That's neither here nor there for me.
No, that's fine.
I mean, that's the best answer I got for that.
Because I mean, like people like, should I go look for my, biological parents? Should I not? Is it going to be more of a stressful situation, or is it going to be better? Like, those are the kind of things that I'm sure a lot of people ponder those questions and answers. So, and like, that's why I was like, what did you think about getting that information from that?
So if my biological parents had still been alive, I probably would have a strong opinion I would have regretted it. I think not ever having them again in my life has got me to where I am now. Right. I would have fallen into a very deep, dark hole of depression had I tried to find them and then seeing what they were, because they never gave up the drugs and the alcohol. Right. So they were shells of human beings at the end of everything. And those weren't the memories. I have few memories, and they may not be great, but I have human memories of them, so, if that makes sense.
No, it does. And then like to put that in the kind of in a bow, like it's kind of like a Pandora's box for those that decide that they want to do that or not. You never know if it's going to be a good thing or bad thing until you decide to do it. So I mean, like, that's why it's like neither here nor there. I understand that concept. I was just trying to like figure out a way to, like, if those people have been in that situation before and curious about doing it, is it better to go back and know those pieces or not? And it just kind of depends on the person. That's what I'm kind of getting out of.
So the question is it going to change your life if you do it? And if it is going to change your life, is it a change in your life that you're going to want?
That's where I was
Are
at.
you going to be able to deal with it?
Mm-hmm.
Because it is going to change your life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you don't know if it's going to be for better or for worse.
Yeah.
Most of the times it's for worse.
Yeah.
So are you prepared to deal with the change and what those changes are, and never again having your life the way it was before?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can never unknow things.
Yeah. It's funny because like there was always like, I can't remember the show it was called, but like where they take like celebrities and they go their ancestry and then they go do all that kind of random stuff that they do and they find out all these things. And like there's been a few interviews after that that says, man, I wish I would never have done that show. Or like there's people that I'm glad I did that show because I got to like meet people that I've never met before and like know that they're family or whatever like that. So I'm like, you got to be mentally ready no matter what that solution at the end. And finding your roots. Thank you, Game Cow.
Yes. Oh, I love that show.
So like, and it's interesting because you have to be emotionally ready for whatever comes after that. And I think like, and that's why I'm trying to like ask you, because like, obviously you were taken by surprise at Walmart, but then you were mentally ready to accept the next journey of finding that information. So like what I guess would be advice to help somebody find that courage or find that adaptation to go that route versus that way, or there's nothing you could say because it depends on how they're gonna associate themselves with that.
Yeah, I think mine was handed to me.
Yeah.
I looked at it as being given the opportunity to now go down this path and find these pieces that I wanted. But I also knew very specifically what pieces I wanted. I knew what my boundaries were. I had my little family at that time. I had my ex-husband who's in the military, and I had my daughter, and I was content with all of that. And so it really is going to depend on the person and being ready to deal with what they're going to find.
Right.
So if you can do it from the sidelines, if you can get the information from the sidelines and not interact with people or interject yourself into their lives or have them come into your lives, I would say go for it. But you're going to find things you're not going to like.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't think that it's going to be 100% positive. There's no way that.
No.
Yeah. So you're going to find something that's going to balance that one. Like, so like, when you decided to do like kind of do that, what made you decide to do the ancestry, and then what did you get out of doing I'm guessing the DNA thing or whatever, like the 23andMe ancestry? Like, what did you get out of that? Was there? And I've never done it before because I have this fear of like DNA being everywhere. Don't.
I was in the foster care system.
Didn't-
They have everything on me.
I'm military, so they have everything on
foster
me
care
too.
to military.
Let's be
You know, I don't have a choice. I am not my own DNA.
Yeah, that's fair too. Like, so what did you get out of that? Like, I'm guessing, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but like it does kind of help you with like health and like the history of health to help you prepare for what you're doing now too.
Yes. So I did find that I carried breast cancer and Alzheimer coding. I already had the whole little cancer get sick thing scare where we've got I'm good, taking care of myself. But the best thing that actually came out of it is I found what ethnicity, culture, like all of that I am, where I'm from. I'm actually, and I think it's like my favorite thing about doing the DNA. I'm actually, I'm a majority English. I am very white. I am over 50% because my biological grandfather is from England.
Yeah.
So I am very English. But I'm also Israeli.
Wow.
Which explains why I tan like nobody's business when I go outside. Like my family growing up was so jealous. I'd go outside and my hair would turn like strawberry gold and my skin, I would just tan. And I have amber color eyes. They're like, where does this come from? What, like your family is pasty?
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, that's awesome. 'Cause I was
So,
like, I always was curious about that, and I'm like, always like I know my history, but yet not in that deep. Because I mean, like most people don't talk about like, and I just learned this recently that there's from people in my family that has breast cancer and all that stuff. Like, how come you're not sharing this? How come you're not telling people? Because they could be checked out and all that stuff. So finding that information, especially through the foster system, would you recommend those that are in the foster system to do that, to get their history, to
yeah.
prepare for that? That's
I would. I think it should
do
be when you age out or emancipate out, your 18th birthday, it should be a gift
Mhm.
from from whatever agency you want to say. They deserve to have that information,
Right.
because everybody else growing up, I mean, look at Latino families, like they can go back and they know where they're from and the different dialects that they've had in their families. And you have, it's just a huge thing that gets lost when you're put in the foster care system. It gets washed out.
Right. Yeah.
So I think every young adult aging out of the system, emancipating, should do a DNA. Just, I mean, if you're willing to do that, if you're scared about the whole DNA thing, I get that. I understand that and I respect that. But if that's not a problem for you, I think you should do it.
Right. Is there like something that you learned through the whole entire process, not just from the DNA, not just from like the family or whatever, that like stood out that says like, hey, somebody, this foster system comes up to you and says, hey, I want to do XYZ. How did you do that? Is there something that you would have learned that you give, like, is your go-to advice for them coming out of the system?
Yeah, nobody's got your back but you. Like you have to set your mind to a goal, and you got to reach that goal. That's one thing that they're not taught, is how to set a goal and reach that goal. It's not an ADHD thing. It's not an autism thing. It's they're sitting there waiting constantly for, okay, well, this is the court date, but we don't know what's going to happen at that court date. We talk about this happening and then it never happens. Or, people don't show up and then you don't go to the court date. So they need to be taught how to make a goal and achieve that goal and celebrate achieving that goal. It doesn't matter how simple it is. They need to be taught how to make the goals and achieve the goals.
Yeah, I mean, like when you hear the advice of like celebrating the small wins, that's what you need to do, no matter if it's this or that. It's all those small wins to get you where you need to go. I guess we've kind of like leaned into a lot of mental health, a lot of foster stuff, YouTubing. So like I'm going through like the questions we talked about, and like, we kind of already talked about that. We already kind of talked about that. Like there's a few random ones that I want to like save for after like we start recording. So like what are some like the misconceptions of the foster care system that you hear that you want to educate people now, that is good, bad, could change, could not change, that we haven't already talked about?
So I don't remember exactly how the proverb or the saying goes, but the children are not responsible for the parents' sins.
Facts.
Stop putting that on the kids. They are not bad people. They are not dirty people. They are not dumb. They are not lawbreakers. They are not set up for failure. They are not responsible for what their parents did. But the problem is that gets put on them because that's what's right there in front of everybody who hasn't experienced the life, and the very gently way to put it, haven't experienced the life of somebody who's chosen substance over them.
Now, to kind of like lean into like the marriage, ex-marriage, and then going meeting aunt, all that stuff, like do you think the foster care system pushed you into getting married and being the way you were, or do you think that you like was grasping on something that was loving you in the time frame where you weren't feeling as much at the time in that system, I guess I should say?
So, I graduated high school. I was dating a young man that I had known my entire life. We had been dating for 2 years because I wasn't allowed to date till I was 16. My mom pushed it off till I was 17. Blah, 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 blah. Control my life.
Oh, a little bit later than normal. Got it. Yeah, sure, fair enough. Yeah.
Right. She told me I was 13, I can get my ears pierced. We went for my 15th birthday. There's a trend.
Yeah.
But I told you guys I got my shit together. I got my shit out. I got my own place. We got engaged right away because it was an option. I think we both just felt that that was next step, and we were going to get married. And I think that does play into I was in that toxic relationship. He wasn't toxic. His mom was. But I okayed it because of the toxicity that I allowed and grew up with. Like, I expected it to be like, okay, this is normal. He's nice to me. He doesn't pay attention to me, but he's nice to me. And we both want to do this. So I guess this is just next step. Right. So I was still in the mentality of, okay, this is next step of life. This is next step of life. This is safe. And that ended up blowing up and falling apart. And thank you, Jesus.
Yeah. And at that time you were living by yourself in the pool house and trying to figure out what your next steps are and stuff like that. And then, like, do you think, like, how much did you, I guess, I want to rephrase this differently so it doesn't sound bad, but like, how did you take that experience and understanding, and what did you learn from it, and how did you grow from it, and how did you open back up through the experience and go, I can still love again and find Aunt in the same spot?
So I love marriage. Like, okay, there was a phase I didn't after my divorce. I was like, fuck that. I'm never doing that again. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
But healing and everything, with time. I wanted to be married because I thought that's
what it
was to be loved.
Well, I mean, that's what was instilled to you from a younger age. So then how did you realize that you didn't really need it, but yet you still wanted it, but you needed it differently than what you were before?
I had to meet, marry, and divorce my ex-husband.
Fair. Yeah.
There was a lot of growing in that marriage. There was a lot of just growth. There was a lot played into that, but there was a lot of therapy that happened during that timeline of being married to that person that I learned. Oh, this isn't what love looks like to me. It doesn't feel like it. It feels safe. I was safe. I was secure. I was provided for. But
it was like autopilot.
Yes, very much so. And when I went to my co-pilot and I said, hey, I want to take it off of autopilot because it's just not working for me, I was straight up told no.
No, because the change, he was comfortable with with what it was, and you weren't, and like, I'm not going to change because of this is what I'm used to, and you had to make that choice.
So I did. I made that choice, and I just said that it's not working, and I want out.
So we talked about like with therapy, like what did you get out of therapy? Because I'm an advocate of therapy. I'm an advocate of always having that mediator, or even if you're not comfortable with therapy, having that person that you can literally open up to. Because I'm like, I just literally had a conversation today, and this reason why I'm like saying this, like, it literally, you are the person that if you're comfortable of saying the story, you say the story over and over again to get it less power. Like, how did you change that to give it less power, to make that choice to go, yep, this isn't for me, and then move on? Because a lot of people can't make that choice and understand that they're more important than what the situation is, I guess.
I'm an advocate for therapy. Like I've been in and out. I can't say in and out. It's an ebb and flow. Sometimes in my life I need it more than others, and sometimes I don't. And it was just, I was going consistently every week, and I was like expressing what was going on. And one of the situations is I was being told by my ex-husband that I needed to go to therapy because something was wrong with me. So I was going to my therapist, and I'm telling them these things, and I'm telling them these things, and I'm telling them these things. I'm like, but I can't figure out what's wrong with me.
Yeah, you have this instance of automatically thinking something's wrong, but eventually you figure out that's not you.
Right. And that was the conclusion that it came to, that there wasn't anything wrong with me. I just didn't want it the way it was anymore. I wanted it better. And yeah, it just, I guess it was a slow evolution over time.
Yeah.
Of going to somebody and expressing what was going on. It's kind of like the rubber ball thing. You throw it at the wall and it comes back.
Yeah.
So is the feedback coming back? Yeah. Hey, look, maybe it is this, and let's implement something different.
Right.
Or it's, this isn't sounding right. Can we dig deeper into that and actually see what's going on? And there was a lot of that. Can we dig deeper into that? Until the end, I didn't blatantly get it's not you, it's him.
Yeah.
Until the very end, when they were like, there's nothing we can do more for you, because there is nothing more for you to do.
Right. So then when you said you made that decision, you got out and you're like, didn't want to be in that marriage part of it. How did that mindset evolve? And then how did you let Aunt in? Because obviously that changes there.
So there was like, I met Aunt playing a video game. We played Overwatch.
Yeah.
I met him a couple months before I actually officially asked for the divorce. So I was checking out of life playing Overwatch every day when I got home from work. A job I was told I had to have because my ex-husband wanted to retire one day. But my ex-husband's on the old retirement program of the military. So he goes 20 years. He has guaranteed like that. Yeah. That was the mind games that were being played. I didn't want to play anymore.
Oh yeah. I understand that.
So we were playing Overwatch every day, and I actually was intimidated by him. And when he would come onto the team, he was a great player, so I would never leave the team. He was great. But I would mute my mic. I would not talk to him. But I also was still married at that point, and I'm like, I have very protective boundaries when I'm in a relationship. I have very thick walls. I don't ever want anything to be assumed inappropriate. I'm very protective of my relationship. Even at that point, it's like, I don't ever want anything to be assumed.
Right.
Not like specifically him, just a general thing. So I would mute my mic and I'd sit there and I'd play Overwatch with him and I'd log off. And then I did not ask. And that's one thing that women also need to understand.
Yeah.
You do not ask for a divorce. You are allowed to say, I'm not in this anymore. This is the next step we're taking.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of things that women aren't actually told, or I shouldn't say just women, men aren't told either. You don't have to ask. You can say, I am done.
Yeah.
And this is what I need to close this out.
Yeah. You forget about yourself sometimes in those situations. Yeah, you're right.
So I did that. And then, so that was like September 3rd. And then my little's birthday was September 14th. And then September 15th, I ended up on almost my deathbed again, or for the first time, with pneumonia.
Oh, wow.
And I was sick for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. Luckily enough, I had a job that they were absolutely amazing. They just said, just come back when you're better. So I was at home by myself, still doing the mom thing, still deathly ill. And I reached out and I said, I really need somebody to talk to. I just need somebody to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
And we messaged and we talked and we played Overwatch. And then I became friends with a few more in our group who are actually still my friends today.
Yeah.
And come to my Twitch channel. But that's how I ended up getting to know him, and our relationship grew. And then it was not until like an entire year later that we actually said, hey, let's meet in person and see where this goes.
Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing because nobody in that time frame was streaming. You were just playing the game. So we were just playing
Overwatch.
And you were able to have a conversation in the game with each other without having to worry about details getting out. I'm assuming.
Right.
You feel comfortable with that conversation. And it wasn't like, I'm guessing, wasn't like a Discord thing. It wasn't like that. It was mainly in the game at that time, right?
Game or phone. Like, he would pick up the phone and he would call me on his way to work or on his way home. Like, he still does today.
Yeah.
I go to work, and if he's home, like, we're talking on the phone when we're driving. We message each other all day long. Not so much lately, because we're like I said, we're a very well-oiled machine right now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, time goes. Yeah, you find that instance. Yeah.
And the conversation is more like, did I miss anything on Discord because I haven't had time to check? Or, hey, you got an update on this? Like, but yeah, we just it was an organic relationship start. I mean, we were friends before we were in a relationship, and then it just kept going from there, and COVID tried to screw everything up. And because I was still working full time in my facility, he wasn't working. His mom wasn't working. His dad was still working in a facility, so I couldn't come visit, and he couldn't come see me unless he stayed with me for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
which was mentally really hard on him, because he's going to come down. He's country boy. He's going to come down to the city,
right? And
he's going to stay there at my house all day long while I'm at work.
Yeah.
And so it just, COVID was really, really hard. And then we finally got through it. And my ex-husband, we were co-parenting at that time. He calls me, he says, hey, I'm deploying. I've got to leave in 60 days. And I said, okay, I'm selling the house and I'm moving where Aunt is.
Right.
Like, I have nobody else down where I was stationed, because I was there because I was married to him there, and we were co-parenting. That was the only reason I stayed.
Right. Yeah.
So I said my support system, it's out in the country with Aunt. Like, his family at that time was supportive. His best friend lives up here. His brothers, just a couple hours away. I'm like, my family, I don't have a relationship with them. I can't, and I'm not moving. Fuck no, I'm not moving back to California.
Right? Yeah,
that's not happening.
No, yeah. And you're so
I'm not
used to the
moving
area
to
where you live.
Minnesota.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that either. Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't want to do that where I'm at.
So we bought a house together, and we moved in. And trust me, anytime anybody moves in together for the very first time, not easy. It's not easy. You're trying to figure out two very unique, different human beings moving in together. I'm bringing a young child with me,
Lots of boundaries, for sure.
Lots, yes, and lots of learning and ups and downs. And, like I said, the last 6 months have been like perfectly a well-oiled machine. And I will tell you what, there should be no factor coming in and messing that up.
and how long have you guys been living together now?
We bought the house October 21.
So quite a while.
Yeah.
And how long did it take you to leave the bathroom door open? I love popping random questions.
We don't go to the bathroom in front of each other, but we have been showering together since the first day we met each other.
No, that's right. I'm just
so we don't have a bathroom in front of each other. It's just that was one of the boundaries we talked about.
No, that's fair.
And then a little bit he tried to. It's too much. I made it real awkward, and it's just never happening. it's not something we do.
No, it's fine. I was just like trying to figure out like when is the moment when you're feeling like 100% comfortable where you kind of do something you don't normally do and you're like, hey. Oh, we're doing that now?
Oh, wait, that was probably when I got the flu.
Oh.
The first time we had to puke in front of each other. I think that was the first one. For me was like, I have no control and I got to trust that he's got everything. And I think that one for me was the, yeah. Cause even when I was pregnant, I had morning sickness all day, every day. I still went in quietly because the religious growing up and all of that.
Oh yeah.
You don't disturb the man with your inconvenience him with your pregnancy.
Yeah.
So I still made sure I went to the bathroom and I Ralphed my guts up very quietly.
Yeah, like how are you supposed to get past that with morning sickness without somebody helping you? Like, I get that.
So
go, yeah.
Go ahead.
My thought process is like, now that you've kind of like transitioned from all this and like kind of wrap it in a bow before we do anything. And anybody in chat, by the way, if you have questions, throw them in chat so we can do this. And then we're gonna do a lightning round a little bit. We'll stop recording for YouTube and then we'll do some offline stuff for benefit of everybody that's being here live. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you want to catch one of these live and you're missing the after interview or the after party afterwards, you need to catch it live later on. Because we we'll just sit back, relax, and kind of have a conversation, kind of what we're doing now. So yeah, I was blessed with having no morning signals. Look at you, Panther girl.
Oh, lucky you.
Yeah.
Just brag away.
Exactly. Like my wife had twins. You talked about twins, and we had twins. She had them. I don't want to give her like say that we didn't do it, but she did most of all the work anyway. But like the morning sickness was common. Like it was just there. But like, what is the most awkward thing that you've now do with Ant that you never did before? And I joke around about the bathroom and things like that, but I mean, like,
I do you mean like, I don't know, give me an example, 'cause I don't think I do anything awkward.
I think more of like the bathroom example, like you have to be comfortable with somebody to do something that you never did before. And like we've done this before. This sounds really awkward, so don't say that. Don't repeat this. But like some people would say like, well, it took me like 6 years to fart in front of them, or puke in front of them, or do like that kind of stuff. Like, so is there something that you didn't do in front of somebody because in your previous relationship that you do now that you didn't do before?
I would probably have to. I would probably have to say it's showering together. Like, that's just what we do, though. It's not awkward to me. It was never like something I did in other relationships. It just wasn't.
That's fair. Street Hawk says, what is the one thing you would like to do as a couple that isn't related to streaming or gaming?
Oh. That's a really good question. That's a really good way to put it, because we do a lot of gaming together, because it's really, I shouldn't say convenient, but it is the easiest way for us to come together.
Right. And your first trip together is
travel, travel, yeah.
Related to streaming.
It would be that one.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, but it's still, we're going as a vacation.
Right.
Like, we're going to go explore. He's going to explore San Diego. I've been there many times, but I love it, and I'm so excited to show him things.
Yeah.
But I think in general,
and San Diego too, by the way. Just kidding. Sorry, couldn't help me. I couldn't help myself on that one. What is he excited about to see in San Diego, and what are you excited to share with him while you're there?
One of the biggest things that's really exciting, and I'm super excited, is I want to take him to San Diego Zoo, and he wants to see it too. Like, that's my favorite zoo. I love zoos. Yes, I'm almost a 40-year-old woman who loves to go to zoos.
I mean, I should introduce you to the zoo that we have in town because it's like usually number 1 or number 2 in the world. So
Okay.
yeah.
But yeah, the zoo is one, and then the food. I have a whole list of different food types. I need to go and find restaurants that I want to take him to, so that he can experience why I say Ohio's food sucks.
Oh yeah.
Like, I want to take him to authentic Mexican food, authentic Middle Eastern food, authentic sushi. Oh man, I'm salivating.
yeah. The real, like, straight from the water to your mouth kind of food. I get that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm super excited to expose them to I lived in California for 30 years. Like that's part of me. I'm super excited to show him that.
No, that's awesome. Because I mean, like, you always go to certain areas of the world and you're like, okay, what are you famous for? And it's like going to it's like clam chowder in Maine, like those kind of things. Like, those are things that I want to specifically do in those areas for sure. I totally get that. Our first trip was to South Carolina to get her puppy. Oh,
it was he's in the hallway, and if I go get him, yes. So that was a trip. We have, that when you take your first trip with your spouse, I understand
especially driving,
why you do it as your honeymoon. Like, I get why that's a thing. There's a lot of learning. I like to travel, and I have traveled so much that I have a way I like to do it, and I know what works. And at that time, I was not confident enough in our relationship to stand up and say, no, I know that the way I do it's going to work, and it's going to work out. So I just said, okay, I'm going to try it your way, which I hadn't done it his way before. In pre-COVID, it would have worked.
Right.
COVID messed everything up. The flight messed everything up. We got stuck. And then we didn't have our rental car got all messed up. So we didn't have a car. And I was getting stressed out because now I have no control of this situation, which that's my biggest downfall. Is I am confident and secure when I have control of a situation. I know the outcome and how it's going to go. As soon as that's out the window, I become kind of not a nice person.
So are you more of he's more of like laid back, like, it's okay, man, it'll work out, we'll figure it out, and you're like, no, this has to do it this way, we have to do it that way?
In those situations, yes.
Yeah.
He is definitely the more that we'll figure it out. Like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do?
Yeah, we're not going to have a car now, so we'll just wait for tomorrow. It's not a big deal, man. We'll just get there.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there's me going through all the things that are very, very wrong and could go wrong and should have gone right and making everything worse. So
yeah.
That aside, we eventually made it to our destination.
Yeah.
And we have Atlas, who's our second border collie puppy, and I love him, and we're still together today.
So Panda Girl says, my first trip with my husband was driving back from Maine to Arkansas after we got married. See, like, and that's what I was gonna say, like with the trips and stuff, like, because we're kind of moving on from all, like, and still getting back to getting to know you more and all that kind of stuff, telling stories or whatever. But like, when was there something that stood out in that trip, the first trip, that you're like, oh, we need to work on this because he likes to, I don't know, I'm just making something up, like he likes to munch on certain candies or certain this while he's eating, and all I hear is crunch, 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 or something like that. Like, is there anything that stood out, kind of like you guys kind of work through to make it work better as a traveling together in the future?
I think we've learned how to communicate a lot better with what was going on. And no, I think he wanted to make everything better, and I was not accepting of any of that.
He did, yeah.
I was the problem. I am not going to deny that by anything under the sun. Okay, I will tell you guys, therapy is miraculous.
Yeah.
The parts of it that were not good were definitely my fault, but it stems back to the foster care of not having not being able to predict how things going to turn out or where it's going to go or what's going to happen and how you're going to get back to what's supposed to be.
Right. So did you guys drive or fly down, or?
We flew.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Never fly American Airlines.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Or Spirit Airlines is what I've heard too. That's anyway. Because I've learned a lot about, like, okay, so we have rules where, like, the driver gets to control the radio, like certain things. Because if the passengers controlling the radio and it's not the music they want to listen to, the driver's not distracted, things like that. Like, or like, if I'm driving, you have to communicate that you need to go to the bathroom, like, miles before we need to stop, because if you don't communicate,
that's not happening.
Like, you can't tell me, and I might go on a rant for just a second here. You can't tell me you need to go to the bathroom as we're passing the rest stop. You need to tell me before the exit comes so I can take the exit.
But I didn't see the rest stop that it had bathrooms, so my bladder did not know.
It reminded me that I needed to go as we're blowing right past it. Yeah.
I didn't know till I saw it, and I'm blind.
Yeah, those kind of things. Yeah, communication is a good one. Yeah, you said. It's my first holiday with my wife. I slept in the bathtub because of her snoring really bad. Oh shit.
Oh man. Thank God Aunt can sleep like nothing can ever happen, because I wake up and I'm like, damn, I was snoring.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna move into what we do, a lightning round. For those that have never done this before or thinking about doing, like, want to join me in the future, reach out to me, because we're always looking for guests. We're always reaching out. We're like usually a month or two out, so I'm trying to, like, plan ahead and get all that kind of stuff in. We do kind of go through the topics, we go through the conversations, we go through the questions, we let everybody read them, we're comfortable with them. These are questions we don't want to talk about, these are things that we do want to talk about, things like that, so we're comfortable. But the one thing you don't see is this lightning round. These are questions that, like, I'm going to ask you questions, you have to give up the answer as fast as possible, then we can elaborate the answer as it goes. A little bit something fun. I have a bunch of them. We'll do a few. We'll keep going for a little bit. We'll stop recording. Then we'll kind of go back to the questions we skipped over. If anybody has other questions that you want to ask in chat, feel free to do so as well.
Yes.
We want to give you a little extra bonus for being here live, because, you know, obviously we want to help you out here. So these are just random questions I kind of come up with. I kind of like look up, kind of like trying to intermix the conversation that we had already and into this. So it kind of worked out really good, because I'm kind of like, oh, if we talk about this is how this question is going to go. And I'm reading some of these as go. I'm like, God dang, I did pretty good at keeping these on track, sir. Okay, so a few random ones. Which gives you more satisfaction, VTubing or being on camera?
Camera.
And why?
I feel like I have people get more of a personal interaction with me when I have the camera.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they get more from the camera versus the VTuber.
Right. Okay. Would you rather be a part of a large streaming community or meet 3 new friends for life?
Oh, I would probably take the 3 new friends for life.
I agree. Yeah, I'm the same way. Let's see here. We kind of talked about that and kind of already answered that one. Most memorable moment from your first stream?
I don't remember my first stream.
Well, go back to the first one you remember. How's that one? Like the first one you do remember. What was the first memorable moment that you remember? I should say. I'll put it that way.
Probably the hype train. The hype train as I hit go live and being a golden kappa. Like
right after being affiliate too, because you have to do all that work to get there too. So like, yeah, I totally understand that one. Preference of solo streams or co-streams, and this could be with other people or with Ant. What would you prefer?
I would probably say solo, because it's easier to manage and maintain everything and know what's going on and who you're talking to. And yeah, I would probably say solo, but I do really love my co-streams.
Oh yeah. I mean, obviously it's a different world when you're piggybacking off of somebody like this kind of stream versus trying to do everything yourself as well. Cause in Twitch, we're not just the talent, but we're the producers, we're the directors, we're doing all that kind of stuff. So I get that. First thing you do to hype yourself up before a stream.
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea.
Like you don't have a routine that you do before each stream. You don't do something.
I have a routine. Like I get ready, and 30 minutes before I sit down, I open up all my stuff and I get it all going. And yeah, I do my live notification.
Yeah.
I think I'm always, if I'm not good to stream, if I'm not excited to stream, I don't stream.
Oh, okay. So like schedule is not a thing for you.
It is for consistency, but I am okay saying I cannot do it today.
Oh, that's fair. Like,
yeah,
the reason why I always ask that to a lot of people is because I get the question, and you got to experience it at this stream, because obviously, you know, when you're just watching, kind of hanging out or whatever, but you got to see like the beginning up to like when you went live and stuff like that. Like, I have a longer intro. I have like a song that I play. I have a song that tries to intertwine with what's going on, and then I have two songs that I always start with stream with. And it usually takes a good 8 or 9 minutes. And people are like, why is your intro so long? It's because when I hit live and I have everything ready to go, I stand up, I stretch, I kind of move around, I kind of bounce around a little bit, and I kind of like get the feel of it. And like and those two songs that I always pick when I enter song is like, I notice you bobbing your head. That's exactly what I do. I kind of like get that flow going and get that like hype going in my head. And so I can kind of get started. So I totally understand, like, if you do or you don't, but like that's why my intro is so long with something that one there. What is your go-to snack while streaming?
Water.
And that's your go-to drink. What is, if you have to snack on something?
I don't, because I don't like to eat on stream.
Like, you don't go to VTubing and eat, or you don't do that at all either?
No, I don't like to eat when I'm on stream.
Oh, that's fair. Okay.
I hate eating ASMR, and I won't do it on my own stream.
So then let me twist the question a little bit. What is your go-to snack in normal life?
Oh, in normal life, no holds barred, golden graham cereal.
Ooh, that is a good one. I love when people pull a snack out that you're not ready for. Like people say, it's like chips or this or that. I love that one. That one's pretty good.
Yep.
Let's see here. You mentioned energy drinks earlier. What is your go-to coffee, energy drink, and how do you energize your stream that outside of water?
So I kind of bounce around between which energy drinks I drink. I like Alani's, I like some Monsters, I like C4s, I like Ghosts. So it's just usually a cream soda one or an orange flavored one. Those are my go-to flavors for energy drinks. For coffee, I like a large hot vanilla latte from Dunkin'.
I was like, if I had no music going, I was like, Ant, I got a clip for you. Large, hot. Oh, coffee. That's what we're talking about. I'm kidding, by the way. That's good. That sounds good. If you could do one thing with your Stream Raiders skins now that Stream Raiders is over, what would you do with them?
I've kind of made them into emotes, which I'll probably be taking them down from that. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
They're in a
one.
safe place. Yeah, they're in a safe place until the right opportunity presents itself.
No, I get that. Let's see here. Vincent talked about that one a little bit. How do you balance the helpful and stressful parts of streaming? Because obviously it can be helpful in a way, but it also can be stressful. How do you balance them both? And what parts of streaming do you consider helpful, and what parts of streaming do you think is stressful?
Helpful, and like, what do you mean?
Like me, like I started streaming because I love being on the mic. And when COVID hit, I couldn't be on the mic at all. I couldn't DJ weddings. There wasn't radio stations anymore, like really like that kind of stuff, because they reduced staff or whatever. So like I used it as a helpful way for me to, increase my mic skills and stuff like that. So is there anything about streaming that's helpful for you? And then is there anything about streaming that seems stressful for you?
Oh, so helpful. I kind of live out in the middle of nowhere where there's not a whole lot of things to do, not a whole lot of opportunity to connect with people. So it's helpful that I have friends to interact with.
Mhm.
Like I regard them as friends. They come in, we chat, we hang out. Outside of stream, like I connect with these people as well. So it's been very helpful in the social aspect of things. I'm also an extreme introvert, and I like to do things by myself and on my own. And streaming, like I can have the social aspect, but I'm still doing my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
The stress, I don't handle it well.
Yeah. Like what is the most what is the most stressful thing about streaming, I should say, for you?
For me, and this is a really, really deep admission, not comparing myself.
That is a huge one. We've talked about that one before too. Like when you see like what you do versus other people and you start kind of doing that, it kind of you can go down a rabbit hole real fast.
Really fast. And it's stressful to not go down that rabbit hole, to just know and be confident in that what I am doing is good.
It's for you. That's what you
that's
forget.
it. It's for me.
Yeah. And it's I always say, like, if you can pull one person out of their rut for the day and just be entertaining enough to get them to feel better, that's better than having 100 people and then try to balance the stream and do whatever. I'd rather have that than be partner, I guess, in my eyes. And that's how I do it. Street Dog says, on days you aren't streaming and cozying up on the couch, what is your guilty pleasure movie that makes you laugh and cry happy tears?
Oh, that's a good one. So there's a couple that I like. Guilty pleasure, it would probably be The Time Traveler's Wife or P.S. I Love You.
Ooh. I just had a conversation.
Those two
about that one.
will make me weep every time and make me laugh every time.
I mean, and why am I drawing a blank on his name? But like the two main characters,
Joel Butler
and the guy from Walking Dead is
I don't know.
That's his brother.
Okay,
from the Walking
I don't
Dead
know.
Anyway, yeah. Put any movie with those two in it, I'm game. Like I don't care if it's girly or not. It depends on how you're doing. Rick, yeah. Yeah, but what's his real name? Because he was the dad in Supernatural too. Anyway, while you're figuring that out, if you had unlimited money, what is the first streaming equipment that you would upgrade today?
First thing I would upgrade today, I'd rent a room somewhere off site of my house.
Oh. You'd want to go travel back and forth just to stream, though?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
Yep. I would like to have it separate.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough where when we bought this house to build a separate room for that, so I feel like I'm separate, but yet I don't have to get in my car and go drive somewhere and get ready and stuff like that.
I mean, even if it was, a she shed in the backyard.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
I had electricity and heating and cooling. Just I would invest in having a space specifically for streaming.
Oh, I love that, because mostly everybody was like say, oh, camera, mic, and all that kind of stuff, and you said space. I love it. I love that you have a different perspective of that answer. That's what I like about that one. Yeah, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Thank you so much. Yes, that's what I was talking about. I'll do a couple more, and then we'll cut the YouTube channel, and then we'll come back to some of these a little bit later on. What's the one thing that streaming has taught you about yourself?
That mistakes and bloops are gonna happen, and you just gotta roll with the punches and either just move on like it didn't happen or play it into something funny. I have grown a lot in accepting the bumps along the way, and that's what it is.
Yep. All right, and then we'll end with this one for the YouTube channel, and then we'll come back. If you could go back to your first stream and give yourself advice, what would it be?
Keep going.
But you were already going anyway, weren't you?
There were times I wanted to stop. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When did
Yeah.
you decide that I want to get past that and say, this is what I'm going to do?
When I got CTV captain.
Oh, that's awesome. Like I never even once thought about like streaming as a viewer. Like I
did. I streamed as a
that's
viewer.
Great fucking
Mhm.
idea. That was a great idea and keep you going and stuff like that. It's great. All right, before we cut on the YouTube channel, we want to make sure that everybody does. It's been below her name, below her camera the whole time. Just make sure you go drop a follow, a0lskynn. When you see this in the YouTube channel in the month of June, her channel and all that kind of stuff will be in the description of the episode, I should say. Any last things you want to give to anybody that sees this a little bit later?
No, I'm happy everybody's here. If you want to stream, do it. I mean, you're not going to lose anything. Other than that, no.
And focus on your mental health no matter what you're doing
Yes.
through YouTubing or foster care, or to bring it all back to put a button on all the topics that we're doing. Yes.
Yeah. It's okay to say, I just can't today.
Mhm.
And that's okay. There's always later or tomorrow or next week. It is okay to say, I just cannot right now.
Yeah, that's fair. I always joke around with like Bluey. If you ever watch Bluey with the kids, it's like, Mom just needs 20 minutes. Like, go take your 20 minutes. Go do your thing, then come back and do that. Or
Yeah.
But, so everybody at the YouTube channel, thank you so much. I truly, truly appreciate it. Have a good one. Thank you so much for hanging out.